Hello, I'm live then, aren't I? Cheers, guys. Here's to the flat earth debate. Okay, let's debate the flat earth, shall we? Who came up with the flat earth in the first place? I think it was Math Powerland, wasn't it? Math Powerland? Now, as far as I know it, Math Powerland, he worked for NASA. He did paintings and all that sort of stuff, right? Did some sort of commission for NASA. But as far as I can gather, the granddaddy of the flat earth is Math Powerland, right? It's not Mark Sargent. It's not Eric DeBay. And it's not Patricia Steer. And if you live in the UK, it's not Nathan Oatley or Martin Leaker or Antonio Sabritz, right? Because I think the granddaddy was Matt Powerland, right? Which is NASA TV or something, NAS, whatever. Right, you know what I mean, whatever. Anyway, what does that matter on the flat earth? Does it matter? Does it matter? I'm not sure whether it does or it doesn't. Hello. So what's going on here then? Well, it says I'm live, right? So I don't know whether I'm live or not, right? I ain't got a clue. But what I do know is I do have a little bit of interest in the flat earth, and anybody wants to come on and throw a few comments. Not that I could see them, so I don't know what's going on. It just says live. Live what? What? I'm on live? Hey. Planet X is just about to crash through my kitchen window. Oh my god! Oh! Earthquakes. Interesting topic, earthquakes. Don't bring that one up, Ian. Don't get me started, right? Don't get me started. Alright? Isn't that right, Dutch? Oh, the powers of the powers that be that control the masses. And just beware if you step out of line. It's not allowed. It's not allowed. You gotta be goodbye. Go pay taxes and make a buy, right? Yeah, that's right. Fucking knobs. Fucking right. Just as well I'm not trying to get money out of this, am I? I'm not a real true flat earther, because I'm not on the fucking gravy train, am I? Am I? We don't need ratings. I don't give a fuck. I don't really give a fuck whether I got any ratings or not, right? But I know the earth might not be round. Might not be round. Might not be round. Well, might be circular. According to Martin Leaker and oh fuck me, what's his name? Subarats. Mr. Subarats and all those, Nate Notley and Patricia Spear and Mark Sargent. It's round, but it's not a ball. It's not a fucking ball, right? Not a ball. Well, Copernicus said it was a ball. That was a long time ago, mind. Didn't have telescopes. Well, I think they had telescopes back then, but I'm not sure if they had what's them things called there? They didn't have satellites and stuff like that back then, did they? Really? No. So Copernicus, it must have been the hypothesis. What's it called? Hypothesis. hypothesis. Mr. Copernicus comes up with a hypothesis. And I'm not getting philosophical now. I don't like being philosophical or philosophical. You know what I mean? I'm just trying to get it the way it is. And I'll tell you the way it is. Is that the first person, as far as the way I see it, that came up with the flat earth concept was Matt Powerland. And when I saw his sort of comedy sketch mocking NASA, never a straight answer, it's very compelling. Compelling to a point where it took me to started me on a journey. And of course, and then I came across the likes of Eric Dubay, then Mark Sargent, and then the little flat earth community in the UK with like Martin Leaker and Antonio Sabrets and Nathan Oakley, and how incestuous all that became, right? Because it was all just a distraction from the looking to find out where we are. Is that important? So many friends of mine says that. What is it important? No, it's probably not, because I'll tell you what. I'll tell you now it's not important. For me, it never mattered ever what frigging shape it was. Right? Whether it was flat or whether it was concave, or I don't give a mother what shape it is, right? But what I learned before I could talk, walk, or understand anything in my life, I learned to astro project, right? I started astro projecting in my cot, right? I made a choice. I was about 16, because up until I was about that age, my astro projectionist sort of life, looking back, I didn't know what it was all about, but I know now a little bit more about what it was, but I still don't really want to open up that door again, right? Because it was, man, right? It was so intense. And I swear, I'm a family man, I got children, had or have, but they're somewhere else, of course, right? Why would they be a lunatic like me? But that journey back then, I let go of that astro projectionist side of myself when I was about 16 years old, right? And that's a reality. That's the truth, right? I've got no reason to lie to you, right? I'm not trying to convince you of anything, right? I'm a truther, right? I'm just one of those truthers, maybe like yourself, right? That I was looking for maybe a deeper understanding of who you are yourself. Like, that's what I've been on that journey. I'm 50 plus years old, right? And I've been on that journey. It's been a very turbulent journey, right? I've been behind the door. I've been across the ocean. Haven't been into space. I've had so many experiences, right? Most of the most incredible experiences that I've really had that would freak anybody out, right? It still freaks me out a little bit about thinking about them. And those experiences that I had back then, they had absolutely nothing to do with like my physical realm or reality around me. I had mum and dad, and then mum and dad were very good, and I had lived in a nice house even back in the 60s, right? I was looked after. It was nice. It's all nicey. There was nothing wrong about it, right? Nothing. untidy or whatever. It was just a dream life, if you like, in a way. You can, as a newborn soul migrating into this reality, you couldn't have wished for a better pond to drop into, in a way. And I was very grateful for that. But by the same token, at a very young age, I still have this very vivid memory about astral projectionism and about having this out-of-body experience, which sort of, and there was many experiences, and then they came at different times, but they are so, even today, still so vivid that it sort of, even now, all these years later, right, separates one part of my belief in who I am and where I am to this other part of who I am, who I've become and who I am in a physical realm, right? And I believe that we all interact into that space, right? We can do it every night in your dreamscape, your early morningscape. You're in that realm, and this is the realm we're talking about. And it's so. When I was a child. Okay. So we're going back into the 70s. Let's go back to where I started to develop my ability to astro project, right? So you're not going to believe this. Honestly, you're not going to believe it, right? Back in the 1970s, when you moved into our old house, to insulate ceilings and stuff, they didn't have things like, rock wall and stuff like that, right? They had to come up with creative ways back in the 70s how to insulate places, right? So in these old Victorian places, they used to put these sort of like polystyrene tiles on the fucking ceilings, right? Thinking it would give you some sort of insulation value. All it did is kill a lot of people when it caught fire. But that's nevertheless. But there was this pattern, it was an oval pattern. It was a trendy oval pattern. Ovals. Lines of them, ovals. And it's polystyrene, they were like on a relief, right? So they were sunken in. So they were inverted. Just little patterns on these ceiling tiles, right? Inverted, right? But when I was in my bed, as a youngster, well fed, locked in your bed, what can you do? Trust me, I did a lot of different things to a point where I had to be locked in. But that's another story. Anyway, I used to play this little game when I was laying in my bed, looking at the tiles. And on certain nights of like the month, like a full moon or something like that, so I had my bedroom curtains open, and it would give different refractions of light across these sort of tiles which had these ovals, like they were like ovals, and I could refract them, right? And how can you refract them? So they would either look like revealed or stood out. So you could like change the perspective of the tiles in your mind, right? In your mind. The ceiling was the fucking same. The tiles were the same. The light coming through the window, the same. But you could do this thing in your head, in your mind, in there, and you could make them look as though they were either imprinted in a relief, like a puddle, or stood proud, like a hill, right? And you could flick. Even though the light wasn't changing and the actual pattern, the relief was the same, just by doing this little trick in your mind, you can flick between the two. Right? Flick between the two. Now, this flicking between the two, over a period of time, because I found it in a sort of strange way. Bearing in mind, I was 5, 6 years old, right? Oh, shit. Excuse me, thank you. Hello, Peter. I'll be back, right? It's me, Dad. Shit. All right, Pops. What's up? Oh, right. Oh, okay. Okay. Dad, I'll have a look. Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Okay. What site's it on? Andy Burnett. All right, I'll have a look. What's the name of the boat? Airbnb. Joad. All right, mate. I'll have a look. All right. See you later. Ta-da. We will. Hey? What? Yeah, I'm coming around for my eggs. Yeah. 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 Don't count on that double omelette tomorrow, will you? 'Cause I'll be around. I'll see you tomorrow, Dad. All right, bye. Sorry about that. It's me, Dad. Right. Fuck me. Here we are on the flat Earth. Debating the flat Earth. Was we debating the flat Earth? I can't remember. Fuck. Math Powerland. I was slagging them all off, wasn't I? Oh no, I was talking about astro-projectionism. Yeah, so let's get back to that one. Astro-projectionism. So there I was as a child, and I had some really profound ones. As I was younger, when I started about 4 or 5 years old, I was so locked into that. That as soon as I went, sort of like, my parents put me into my bed. You know, and don't forget, when you're like that age, like 4 or 5 years old, you know, they put you down at 6 o'clock, you know, and you got to do your stuff, right? So you got to behave or whatever, and you're knackered because you've been fucking pissing about all day, right? But for me, I built this, and I did it through reflection, right? Using my eyes and changing perception. Now, eventually, one night, I sort of drifted off into that mid-dreamscape, you know, that sort of like space where you're in between sleep and almost awake and all that, right? So I'm there, and I remember I was laying in the bed, and don't forget, bear in mind, I'm like 4 or 5 years old, right? I'm looking up at the ceiling, and I'm inverting and flicking this sort of vision through these tiles, right, in my head, and then I sort of drifted off whilst I was doing it. You know what I mean? I sort of like drifted off, and then you know, like you have a sort of jerk round. You come round, yeah. And I come round, and I was like that. And my nose was on this. Honestly, I swear to you, it's on the ceiling like that. I was like, I was fucking eyes. Like I couldn't breathe. Right? And I was like flailing about the middle of the fucking ceiling, right? Totally confused. Totally confused, right? Got no idea what's going on. You know, crash will wake up. Whoa, what was all that about? And that was the beginning of the astro projectionism, right? The beginning of of having these out of bodies experiences. Right? And as I got older, as I started to get older, they became more and more vivid and more entwined with my sleeping state, right? To a point where I could wake up and see myself in bed. I could fly across rooftops, houses. I could go in people's windows and sit and see people. I mean, it was ridiculous. I kid you, it was ridiculous, right? To a point that because I was so young when I was experiencing it, right, I had no way of trying to I had no reference, right? I just thought it was normal. I thought it was a bit strange, but I was so young at the time, even though this is going on through my early teenage years. it just felt like natural. But my waking reality, you know, like I wake up in the morning, I wake up like, you know, with all this like, wow, what was all that? What? And my parents would be like, come on, you gotta get ready for school. Come on, put your uniform, get you out the door, blah, 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 and all that, right? Which, of course, sort of distracts you from that. But I was never, even at school, I was a completely distracted student, right? Bright, intelligent, unfocused, right? Because this other realm that was outside of my physical reality had more bearing and impact. Even though such a young person, that I couldn't control my, I couldn't relate it, right? And it was, I wouldn't say it was like bearing a cross, you know, it was a crutch, like it was a chore, it was frightening, it was scary and all that. It wasn't. It was not. It was liberating. It was, imagine being able to fly across buildings and like, as these experiences of astral projectionism became more prolific and more vivid as I got older, up to more towards my teens. My early teens, my sort of like 14, 15, I had some really mad experiences. And I'm gonna give you a example of that in a moment, okay? But just without because there are so many. But my schooling life and my physical life, and you know, and falling in love with girls, and my developing life in reality was overtaking that experience of what I was having on that. I don't know whether you call it interdimensional, whether you can call it, you know, some people call it crazy, whatever, right? But I've got to explain. Let me put things into a little bit of perspective, because as a very young child, I was having this beautiful experience with it, you know, like floating and flying and all this sort of thing, and seeing myself outside my body. When I was in my first house that I can remember, I was 2 to 4 when I was at Grosvenor Road, 2 to 4, and I so much remember my experiences then that looking back is what sort of you know, this is why I'm so out there. It's why I'm so not sold on, you know, there is so much more to what we perceive as our reality, right? So much more. And the experience that I've had haven't been taught out of books. They weren't given to me by a teacher. They started happening to me when I was a baby. When I was a baby. And I remember when I was 16, I remember making a physical, really hard. I am not gonna have this anymore. To try and break my connection with that side of my life, right? Which was in this altered sort of sleep, meditative state where I was involved in this multi-dimensional world. Which was just so much more wild and expansive than the physical world that I found myself sinking back into each time. That put my draw and my attraction towards, I suppose, puberty took over, right? And it sort of drew me into the sort of physical world in a profound way. Could you determine that as spiritual, physical? I don't know how you could really determine it, but what I do know, it was real. It was real. It felt real to me. I experienced it as real. So, let me get onto that example I was telling you about. Now, this is, material life, real life, became more and more profound. Going to school, meeting new people, your child, The material world was becoming busier and busier. And the occupation in my mind was being filled up more and more and more by those physical experiences. But and I started to let go of that experience as that sort of more sleep-driven wild experience. Natural, I thought. And I wasn't bothered, right? I thought it was natural, meant to be. I was happy, right? I was just happy that I could be in both realms. I never talked to my parents or to anybody else, my peers, or even my sister, right? It was just part of an inner part of myself that I just thought it was natural, right? So as you grow older, you start to, as I got into my later teens, you start to go, well, hang on, what I've been experiencing doesn't quite piece together, right? So I'll take you through one experience, right, that really knocked me out, right, knocked me for six, right. I was probably 15 years old, coming up 16 years old, and I was living with my parents, and they lived in an old Victorian house on 3 stories, and at the time I was occupying one of the rooms on the 3rd floor, but there wasn't a bathroom on that floor, it was only on the 2nd floor. So I vividly remember this dream. And I'm in my bed, and I wake up, and I'm having this dream. I need a wee, right? Excuse me, need to go I need to piss, right? But whilst I was asleep, I have this dream, and I'm in the bathroom downstairs having a piss in the urinal, and there's, excuse me, then I looked into the sink. There's the toilet in front, there's the sink. I look into the sink, and the sink's full of water, and there's a flannel in the sink, and the sink's overflowing. And don't forget, bearing in mind I'm still in bed at this point, and I'm dreaming it, right? So I wake up, in my bed, needing a wee, right? So I wake up and I go, fuck me, that's a weird dream. And I get out of my bed and I go down the stairs to the bathroom. And on my way down the stairs, I'm remembering the dream that I had whilst I was in bed. And I'm going down the stairs, and I'm walking down the stairs, and I think, fuck me, that's a weird dream. And bearing in mind I'm about 15 years old, right? And I think, that's a fucking weird dream. I remember being in the toilet, and I can remember, and I thought, well, it's only a dream, because the sink was overflowing anyway. So I walk into the bathroom, and the light's on, right? As I walk down the stairs, I can see through the balustrade that the light's on in the bathroom, right? And I'm like, oh, and it's all, and I can remember the dream that I woke up for. The thing that, you know, like when you need a wee, when you're dreaming, you dream about you being, and you wake up, hopefully, before you piss yourself in bed, right? And, yeah, and I walk down to the bathroom, and I walk into the bathroom, and I start to have a wee, and I look into the sink, and the sink's full of water. And there's a flow in the sink, and the sink's overflowing, right? Now, at that point, I had a bit of an instant mental breakdown. I mean, you know, it had nothing to do with anything else, but it was just an instant realisation that I'd pictured the sink whilst I was asleep up there, upstairs. Coming down the stairs, and I had this vision of it. It was part of the dream. And then walking into the bathroom and seeing it, and it was there, right? Had a profound, real, honestly, profound effect on me. To a point where I went and woke my mum and dad up, right? I said to them, Dad, I knocked on the door, Dad. He said, what's the matter? Go the fuck, what the fuck you doing? What the fuck you doing waking me up at this time, right? I said, Dad, look, I've done my head's done. I don't know what's going on. He said, your mum's like, oh, he's dreaming again. Fucking tell him to go to bed, right? So, it's a very profound experience in that. And at that point, I had around that point, I was just coming up to 16, and I started playing a little bit. Just discovered smoking marijuana and shit, you know. So, I had this vision of myself, right, and I started practicing again, and I started visioning, and I could levitate myself out my body, I could move outside through the window, I could get above the house, and I could literally go anywhere. But how did that fit in to this sort of working class boy who's on a YTS? Right, I had to go to work every day to earn £25 a day for a week, give half to his mum, right? Where the fuck did that sit within all of that, right? Who knows? Anyway, thank you all out there. Don't know who you are. God bless you. But I'm going to check out now. Thanks for listening. I don't know why you did, but thumbs up, bruvs. Till the next time, yeah? God bless you.